So, Chelsea play someone today. How good is Palmer?
So good. He's so good. For me, it's the mentality brings in, because we're talking about this team having lots of kids, but if there is one who stands out every time and again, handles the pressure, it's him. Showing up every game with the kind of pressure that is there, even knowing that he left Manchester City to go to Chelsea to prove himself, and he shows it every time and again. That's what stands out for me.
Solid guy.
Yes, mature.
I think he's a good player. I wouldn't say so good. I just say he's a good player. Because I think we have seen more better technically gifted, the way they play the ball, the way they control the game. I think that we've seen better. It's just that Chelsea is just in a bad place right now. So he's the only gem that they have at the moment. But he's a good player.
It goes back to what you said last week. Remember when you were looking at the Chelsea squad?
Yes.
Who else can get into the top 3 teams aside from Palmer? If you look at it, if you look at the whole Chelsea squad, and the fact that the other Chelsea players are not performing at their best, they have been poor actually this season, and the fact that he's the only person who seems to have the mindset at Chelsea to come up with the goals, to have the mindset to keep going each and every single time. The fact that he is trying to prove a point this season, I think that's the main thing. The fact that he's been able to just show up, because if you look around, there's no one else who is of that same mentality at Chelsea. Yeah, and
I agree with Elijah. The fact that he stood up, he shows maturity, as well as there's this leadership quality with him, because he's the one who is taking penalties, and he's also cool, calm, taking penalties. But I think something else, that he's a good player, talented player. As Elijah said, I wouldn't put him above the Sakas,
No, we've had this weird conversations, including comparing it. Mm-hmm. Okay, his numbers and Saka's numbers and Foden's number, and people saying, "What do you think?" And I'm like,
because he's in a Chelsea team that the rest are just poor, and the cream sometimes always stands out.
But isn't that a good thing that he's good? He looks very good in a very poor team. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing for him, at least. You know?
But does it say anything about his abilities?
But it says more
about his mentality, or more about Chelsea?
About Chelsea's. I think it tells more about Chelsea.
It's more about Chelsea. Yeah. It's not about his abilities per se. Because if you look at talent, man, Jemo, you have seen some proper English talent over the years. You know, like Wilshere when he came onto the scene. You know, for Palmer, he has it. You can see it, but it's just not that wow factor.
I agree with Sammy. I think it's more the mentality. He seems to be to have a proper strong mentality and focus, and to be ice cold, under the celebration and stuff. But I would put him behind. No, he's not. No, you leave Saka alone. Leave Foden alone. Now Akoku hivi kwa maybe in 2-3 years at our join.
Yes. In fact, for me, I want to see him next season when he doesn't have something to prove. No,
he'll still have something to prove, because now he's the big boy. What I like though is he's taken the mantle of I'm this team's big guy. Granted, the competition is not much, because competition is Disasi and Chukwuemeka and Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez and Madueke and Badiashile and Kukurea and Petkovic
and Augusto and Nicholas Jackson.
It's just random people.
Chelsea's
just random. It's really random. Chelsea has very random people.
Random.
You're like, who are these people? Anyway.